Every moment of your life is a silent invitation to choose who you are going to be. When you close your eyes tonight, and when you awaken tomorrow, you are standing at the doorway of infinite possibilities. You have been told that life is something that simply happens to you, that circumstances are fixed, that the world outside dictates the world within. But I tell you, the exact opposite is true. The world within is the only cause, and the world without is its reflection. You are not at the mercy of life. You are the author of life, and if you dare to act as if you are a magnet to miracles, you will discover that the unseen currents of creation bend themselves to your assumption. Consider the magnet. It does not chase the metal. It does not plead for it, beg for it, or strain toward it. By its very nature, it draws effortlessly. It rests in its being, and in that resting, it pulls the invisible into the visible, the unseen into the seen. You are that magnet. Your assumption of yourself, your state of consciousness, is the invisible field that shapes your world. If you assume that you are blessed, if you assume that life yields to you its wonders, if you assume that every day you walk in the midst of miracles, then life can only bring you evidence to confirm it. But the mind asks, how can I act as if, when the evidence of my senses tells me the opposite? How can I believe in abundance when I see lack? How can I walk in joy when sorrow surrounds me? How can I claim healing when pain seems to linger? The secret is this: you are not to consult appearances. Appearances are the shadows of your yesterday's belief. They are not the truth. They are the echo. The truth is your present assumption. And when you act as if, you are not deceiving yourself, you are liberating yourself. If you were to imagine right now that you already are the one who attracts miracles, what would you do? How would you rise in the morning? Would you drag your feet, heavy with doubt, or would you walk lightly, knowing that unseen blessings are even now rushing to meet you? Would you speak words of complaint, or would you speak words that carry the fragrance of victory? Would you look upon your world with fear, or would you gaze with wonder, knowing that everything conspires for your good? To act as if is to occupy the state of the answered prayer, to clothe yourself in the garment of your desire until it feels so natural that life must mirror it back to you. The magnet does not grow tired. It does not measure time. It does not say, I have pulled long enough, and still the metal has not come. It simply remains itself. In the same way, remain faithful to your chosen state. Persist even when nothing seems to move, for the invisible always precedes the visible. Just as the root grows underground before the flower breaks the soil, so too does your assumption take root in the unseen before your world blossoms with its proof. You are not waiting for miracles to come. You are the source of their attraction. The moment you dare to assume, the moment you dare to act as if, the miracle begins its journey toward you. Even now, forces beyond the comprehension of your senses are aligning themselves with your inner vision. And when you least expect it, when your mind has forgotten to analyze, the miracle appears as though it has always belonged to you. Do not confuse acting as if with mere pretending. Pretending is shallow, but acting as if is creative. Pretending says, I wish this were true, but it is not. Acting as if declares, it is already true within me, and soon it shall be revealed without. When you act as if, you shift the very center of your being. You walk as the one who already possesses what you sought. You become the living prophecy of your own fulfillment. Ask yourself now, what miracle do you desire? Is it freedom from limitation, abundance where there is lack, love where there is loneliness, health where there is weakness? Whatever it may be, see it within. Enter into it with feeling. Give it tones of reality. Do not leave it as a distant dream. Make it present, make it immediate. Feel it so deeply that you lose yourself in it. If tonight you lay your head upon the pillow with the feeling that your miracle is already yours, you have planted the seed. Do not doubt the seed, simply water it with faith. When you walk tomorrow, carry yourself differently. Speak as one who is favored. Think as one who is chosen. Smile as one who is blessed. And though the world may not yet echo your inner song, persist until it does. For the world has no choice but to yield to the dominant vibration you carry. To act as if is to live in the end. It is to step beyond time, to move from the realm of waiting into the realm of having. It is to taste the fruit before the harvest. And in that tasting, you call the harvest into being. Do not let the mind deceive you with its arguments. It will say, be realistic. It will whisper, you cannot see it, you cannot touch it, you cannot hear it. So how can it be real? But I say to you, the unseen is more real than the seen. The invisible state is the parent of the visible fact. To ignore the invisible is to live as a child who denies the seed while demanding the fruit. But to honor the invisible is to live as a creator, knowing that the fruit is certain, for the seed has already been planted. You are a magnet to miracles not by effort, but by nature. The effort lies only in choosing where to dwell in consciousness. Will you dwell in fear or faith, in lack or abundance, in despair or hope, in doubt or certainty? Where you dwell is what you draw. Where you linger in imagination is where life must meet you in fact. Every act of imagination is a movement in consciousness, and every movement in consciousness is a magnetic force. What you imagine and accept as true, you begin to draw whether you are aware of it or not. Therefore, guard your imagination as you would a precious treasure. Do not dwell in what you do not wish to experience. Do not rehearse failure, for to rehearse it is to invite it. Do not magnify fear, for to magnify it is to attract it. Instead, clothe yourself daily in the feeling of your desired miracle. Even in the smallest acts, live from the end. If you desire wealth, do not look upon yourself as poor. See yourself already in possession, already supplied, already surrounded by abundance. If you desire love, do not see yourself as lonely. See yourself already embraced, already cherished, already fulfilled in companionship. If you desire healing, do not see yourself as broken. See yourself whole, vibrant, radiant with life. What you dare to assume you magnetize. Miracles are not foreign. They are not distant. They are the natural result of living in alignment with your true nature. To believe that miracles are rare is to misunderstand who you are. Every breath is a miracle, every beat of your heart, every idea that enters your mind. The so-called small miracles prepare you to welcome the greater. And when you act as if, you declare that the miraculous is your natural inheritance. So tonight, decide what miracle you wish to embody. Enter it in imagination. Feel it so real that you cannot help but smile. Let it accompany you into sleep, for the moment before sleep is the moment of greatest power. In that drowsy state, your assumption sinks into the depths of your being, where it is fertilized, where it grows unseen, until in due season it rises to the surface of life. Tomorrow, awaken as the one who already has. Walk as the one who already is. Speak as the one who already lives the miracle. And do not let appearances sway you, for appearances are nothing but yesterday's echoes. Stay faithful to the end you have chosen, for the end, once assumed, has no choice but to create the means. You are not hoping for miracles. You are not waiting for miracles. You are the miracle, and by your assumption, you magnetize its reflection in the world around you. To act as if you are a magnet to miracles is to align with your true self, to live in harmony with the creative law of life, and to discover that all things are indeed possible to the one who dares to believe. The moment you begin to live as if your miracle is already here, the energy around you shifts. People begin to respond differently. Opportunities begin to emerge, doors that were closed suddenly open. It may appear subtle at first, like the faintest stirring of the wind before the storm arrives, but those subtle shifts are the forerunners of great change. Do not dismiss them as coincidence. Do not call them accidents. They are the ripples caused by the magnetic field of your assumption. Have you noticed that when you dwell on problems, they multiply? When you dwell on fear, it seems to find confirmation everywhere you look. In the same way, when you dwell on your chosen miracle, the world begins to whisper its agreement. The evidence of the old dissolves, and the evidence of the new arises. This is why persistence is the secret key. One who persists in the inner vision will inevitably see it reflected in the outer world. Your world is a mirror, and the mirror has no choice but to reflect what you assume yourself to be. If you wake each day and look at the mirror of life with a frown, Seeing only what you dislike, you will magnify the unwanted. But if you look at that same mirror with joy, with expectation, with the assumption that miracles belong to you, then soon the reflection must change. For no mirror can resist the image placed before it. This is the art of faith, faith not as mere belief, but faith as assumption, as the willingness to act as if the unseen is already seen. Faith is not waiting, faith is claiming. Faith is not hoping, faith is knowing. When you walk by faith, you no longer beg life to deliver. You rest in the certainty that it already has. You walk into rooms differently. You speak to others differently. You carry an aura that cannot be denied, for you are living from the end, and the end has no choice but to manifest. Think of yourself as an actor on the stage of life. The role you play is determined by the state you occupy. If you occupy the state of lack, you play the role of one who struggles. If you occupy the state of love, you play the role of one who is cherished. If you occupy the state of abundance, you play the role of one who receives. But unlike the actor who must leave the role when the play is done, you are free to choose and remain in your role until it crystallizes into fact. And so, the invitation before you is simple yet profound. Choose your miracle now. Not tomorrow, not when circumstances improve, but now. Begin to feel it, speak it, live it. Do not wait until you see evidence, for evidence comes after. Begin where you are, with the unseen. Act as if, and the invisible will become visible. The greatest secret is this: you are never manifesting things, you are manifesting states. And things flow naturally to the state you occupy. If you occupy the state of joy, things that bring joy must appear. If you occupy the state of wealth, wealth must find you. If you occupy the state of health, health must express itself. Stop chasing things. Instead, enter the state. Be the magnet, and the things will be drawn to you. Life responds not to your words alone, but to your inner knowing. You may say, "I am blessed." But if within you feel unworthy, then your words are powerless. You may say, "I am wealthy." But if within you feel lack, then wealth cannot come. The magnet is not in your lips, it is in your being. So clothe yourself in the feeling of already having, until it feels more natural than the absence of it. When that inner conviction becomes stable, the outer must rearrange itself to match. Consider a person who desires to be free from debt. If they constantly think of debt, fear debt, talk of debt, even while saying, "I want abundance," then the magnet is set to lack, and lack must persist. But if they shift their gaze, if they live in the assumption that all is already supplied, that their needs are already met, that abundance is their nature, then the magnet has changed its pole, and abundance must come. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot dwell in fear and expect faith to manifest. You cannot occupy lack and expect abundance to arrive. Choose this day whom you will serve, the state of doubt or the state of certainty, the state of despair or the state of fulfillment. Whatever you choose, persist until it becomes natural, and the outer world will mirror it faithfully. Even in moments of silence, you are attracting. Even when you say nothing, your inner state is speaking louder than words. People sense it, life responds to it, the invisible aligns with it. So guard your state as you would a jewel. When doubt knocks, refuse to entertain it. When fear whispers, silence it with assurance. When appearances contradict you, remain unmoved. For the unseen reality you carry is more powerful than the fleeting shadows of the moment. And as you remain faithful to your chosen state, something remarkable begins to happen within you. The weight you once carried, the heaviness of doubt, the restlessness of waiting begins to dissolve. A quiet confidence takes its place, a deep inner stillness that whispers, "It is already done." You move through the same world, meet the same people, yet you are not the same. You are no longer the beggar at the gate of life. You are the honored guest at the banquet, already seated, already served. When others complain, you listen but do not join them, for you know that words are seeds, and you will not sow seeds of lack. When others point to the facts of limitation, you do not deny what they see, but within yourself, you know another reality is forming, unseen by their eyes, but already alive in yours. You carry within you a private vision, and that vision is more powerful than the collective doubts of those around you. This inner knowing changes how you use your imagination. No longer do you rehearse what you fear. No longer do you replay the old stories of defeat. Instead, you spend your secret moments revisiting the end you have chosen. You walk through the inner halls of your mind as though you were already living the miracle. You hear the conversations that would be spoken if your desire were true. You feel the gratitude that would rise if your prayer were answered. You practice the reality of fulfillment until it feels like home, and once it feels like home, the outer world must move to match it. Think of the child who pretends to be a hero. In their play, they are not simply pretending. They are experiencing the thrill, the courage, the joy of the role. And in that play, they become what they imagine. So too with you. When you act as if you are not merely playing games, you are entering the creative workshop of consciousness. You are rehearsing your future until the rehearsal becomes the performance. There is a law of life. You receive not what you wish for, not what you plead for, but what you assume to be true. Wishes float away. Prayers without belief remain unanswered. But assumption fixes the magnet and draws the thing inevitably. To assume is to claim possession, to take hold of the unseen and refuse to let go until it solidifies. Do not measure the process by the clock. Do not ask how long it will take. The seed does not ask how many days until the harvest. It simply rests in the soil, confident that the earth will do its work. So too must you rest in the soil of your assumption, knowing that the miracle is already germinating, already unfolding, already making its way to you. And in the meantime, walk as though it were here. Smile as though the gift were already given. Celebrate as though the victory were already won. For in doing so, you bring the invisible into visibility. Life cannot resist the one who persists in joy. The world cannot withhold from the one who refuses to doubt. The miracle cannot stay away from the one who acts as if it is already present. The magnetic pull of your state reaches far beyond what your senses can trace. It moves through conversations you have not yet had, places you have not yet gone, people you have not yet met. It rearranges circumstances, closes doors that do not belong to you, and opens those that lead to your destiny. You cannot see the full pattern, but you do not need to. Trust the unseen. Trust that the moment you assume, the current is set in motion. And so, let your assumption be bold. Do not shrink your desire to fit your circumstances. Do not limit your vision to what seems reasonable. Life itself is unreasonable, overflowing, extravagant in its generosity. Look at the stars, the oceans, the forests. Abundance is the natural order. Why then should your life be the exception? Dare to claim what seems impossible, for the impossible is only the unclaimed possibility. Act as if even the greatest miracle is already yours, and life will astonish you with its fidelity. And when you dare to live in this bold assumption, you will notice how your senses begin to obey your inner command. What once looked like obstacles begin to look like stepping stones. What once felt like delays begin to feel like preparation. You no longer tremble at the sight of challenges, for you know they are but shadows cast by your former states, dissolving as the new state takes root. You see life differently because you see yourself differently, and when the self changes, everything must change with it. There is a power in walking through your day as though the miracle is already yours. Imagine for a moment a person who has just received wonderful news. Notice how they walk, how they smile, how their eyes shine. Even if you do not know the news, you can feel that something has shifted within them. Their body carries a new rhythm, their words carry a new music, their presence feels alive with possibility. Now imagine living that way not because of outer news, but because of inner conviction. Imagine rising each morning as though life had already delivered its greatest gift. That is the essence of acting as if you are a magnet to miracles. When you choose to embody the end, even your smallest actions are infused with a new energy. The way you greet others, the way you handle tasks, the way you sit, stand, or breathe, all of it becomes an extension of your inner state. And because your state is magnetic, every action becomes a silent invitation for life to mirror your conviction. Without struggle, Without strain, without forcing, things begin to align. You may notice people showing up at the right time, conversations turning in your favor, ideas arising without effort. This is not chance. This is the magnetism of your assumption at work. Your only task is to remain faithful within. If you remain faithful, the outer will not fail to respond. There will be moments when the old state tries to pull you back. You may hear the whispers of doubt. It's not working. Nothing has changed. In those moments, do not argue with appearances. Do not wrestle with shadows. Simply return inward, breathe deeply, and remind yourself, I am the magnet and the miracle is already mine. Stand firm in that inner knowing until the doubt fades, as it surely will. Every state has a persistence of its own, but no state can remain if you refuse to give it life. If you feed fear, fear grows. If you feed faith, faith grows. Where you place your attention is where your magnet draws its strength. So when the old tries to return, starve it of attention. Feed only the state you wish to see expressed. And as you do, the miraculous begins to feel ordinary. Not ordinary in the sense of dull, but ordinary in the sense of natural. You no longer look for signs and wonders as though they were rare. You begin to live as though miracles are the default, the natural current of life. You stop asking, when will it happen? And instead live in the certainty that it is happening even now. This shift transforms how you experience time. Instead of waiting anxiously for the future, you savor the present, for you know that the present carries the seed of fulfillment. You become patient without passivity, calm without complacency, assured without arrogance. Time itself bends to your inner stance, for time is only the unfolding of states. And in that assurance, you discover freedom. No longer do you chase outcomes, no longer do you beg circumstances to change. You rest in the quiet joy of knowing that you have already received. You act as if not because you are pretending, but because you have awakened to the truth that life is always reflecting you, and you have chosen to reflect miracles. And as you hold to this inner reality, notice how your imagination becomes your greatest ally. The pictures you create in the secret place of your mind are not idle fantasies. They are blueprints of the life to come. Each image, each scene you rehearse, is a seed sown in the fertile soil of consciousness. And just as no farmer sows a seed and then doubts the earth, so you must not doubt the power of your imagination. Trust it, nourish it, return to it again and again until it becomes more vivid than the evidence of your senses. Suppose you desire to travel, yet you do not see the means. Each night before sleep, you could close your eyes and imagine yourself stepping off the plane in the place of your choice, feeling the air, hearing the voices, smelling the scents of that land. Do this not with a sense of wishing, but with a sense of arrival. Act as if it were already accomplished, and you magnetize the ways and means. The money, the opportunity, the invitations, whatever is required will be drawn to the magnetic field of your fulfilled state. Or imagine someone longing for reconciliation with a loved one. They could replay in their imagination the sound of laughter shared again, the warmth of an embrace, the sweetness of harmony restored. Though in the outer world the silence remains, inwardly they dwell in union. And because they act as if it were already healed, life responds. The phone rings, a message arrives. Circumstances arrange themselves to reflect the inner vision. This is not superstition. This is law. Consciousness is the one and only cause. The state you occupy determines the world you experience. To change your world, change your state. And to change your state, dare to act as if your desired miracle is already yours. Consider also the person who desires health. If they continually speak of illness, focus on symptoms, and imagine decline, then no matter how many remedies they seek, the state of sickness is magnetized. But if they close their eyes and picture themselves vibrant, strong, moving freely, if they act as if they were already whole, then the state of health takes root within, and the outer must align. Doctors may call it recovery, others may call it luck, but the truth is that consciousness claimed health, and health appeared. You see, the world will always give names to your miracles. Some will call it coincidence, some will call it chance, some will call it fortune. But you will know the truth. It was the magnetism of your assumption. It was the invisible law responding faithfully to the image you carried within. And here lies the freedom. No one can assume for you. No one can live in your state but you. Others may pray for you, speak over you, encourage you, but until you clothe yourself in the feeling of your miracle, the magnet is not fixed. It is your responsibility and your privilege. You are not a victim of conditions. You are the shaper of conditions. So take ownership of your inner world. Guard it as the treasury of your future. Refuse to let fear dictate your imagination. Refuse to let the senses bully you into submission. Stand tall in your inner knowing and declare, I am the magnet, and my miracle is mine. Then walk as though it were already done, for indeed, in the unseen it is. So I leave you with this truth. You are not waiting for miracles to arrive. You are the magnet that draws them. Life does not withhold from you. It responds to you. The state you occupy, the vision you embrace, the feeling you sustain, these are the forces that shape your destiny. Walk as though you already have, speak as though it is already done, breathe as though the miracle is already here, and you will find the world bending to your inner command. Refuse to live as a beggar of life and rise as its creator. Dare to act as if, and the unseen will clothe itself in form before your very eyes. The power is already yours. Use it boldly, faithfully, and watch as the miraculous becomes your everyday reality.